Stampin' Studio. I'm Tina Rappy. Today I wanted to share with you a really pretty card featuring the prized Peony stamp set, and this happens to be a tent fold. So it's this way. So let's head on over to the Stampin' table and get started on this. So for this card we're using the prized Peony stamp set, and we're going to be using this image and then this sentiment. Okay, so we're going to start out. I have cut out two pieces using the Hippo and Friends dies. Now, let me show you these dies. So it comes with lots of little pieces like for cutting out hippos and butterflies and unicorns and stuff. But what I really like about this set of dies is these different label shapes, and then that there are multiple sizes of them. So I use the large one here and then the medium one here, and just die cut those out. And then this is the one that we're going to be doing the stamping on. Okay, so let me just move my piece of matte paper under here. And so again, this is the one that I'm using, and I am going to use gray granite ink. We'll ink up the whole thing, but I don't want this to be a real deep color, so I'm going to stamp off. So that gives me the darker color, and now on my little label, this is where I want to stamp it again. Okay, so you can see how I have a much softer image there. Okay, and then I'm going to get out, I'm going to use soft seafoam and a blender pen. And so let me just make sure we get all the ink off of that. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to color with a blender pen, and a lot of times I will close it and squeeze it and pick up the ink from here. But this color is so soft, it doesn't really work that way. So I personally have no problem with just touching the blender pen to this, and then you can see how it picks up the ink. So I am going to color all of the leaves in with this soft seafoam. And this actually gives a much softer look. I could use the markers, but the markers are so much deeper in color, and that's not the look that I'm going for. I just want a really soft, soft image here. Okay, so that is all the leaves. Let me clean this back off. And so with a blender pen, even though it may look dirty, you can get off almost all of the ink. Okay, so we're done with this, and then we're going to go in with petal pink and color in the flower itself. And again, I want to take it right off of here. However, with this, when I first touch it down, it's kind of a dark color. So I want to touch it down, give a couple swipes just to lighten it a little bit, and then start coloring in the flowers. And the stamped image has the automatic shading on it, so you don't even have to worry about doing any shading to it at all. You're just going to color it in. There we go. So that is colored in. Now, get this close. Wow, this one's stuck. There we go. Okay, then with the blender pen, I've got this, Love and Thanks. And I want to stamp this on this banner, but I only want I don't want the Love and Thanks part of it. I just want the To a Dear Friend. Okay, so I am going to use the gray granite ink, and I am picking up the ink here and rubbing it right over the words that I want, directly to the stamp pad. And again, you could do this with markers, but I want a softer look, and we're already using the blender pen anyway, so why not? Okay, once we have that on there, then I want to huff it by bringing it up to my mouth and blowing on it. Not actually blowing on it, getting the moist breath on there. Let's do it that way. Okay, so to a dear friend. Okay, now all of the stamping here is done. Let me just get the lid on here. We're going to go ahead with assembly. Okay, so my card base, and this measures 4 1/4 by 7 inches, and then I've scored it at 3 1/2. So this is my card base, but this is going to end up being a regular size card. It just doesn't look like it yet. And then I have a piece of gray granite, and this one measures 4 inches by 3 1/4. I have a piece of the designer paper, and this is the Peony Garden designer paper. And this measures 3 3/4 by 2 inches. So, oh, and then one more piece. This is Petal Pink, and this one measures 3 3/4 by 1 1/4. And I have run this through the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. So if you look at it, you can see the pretty texture that's on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put adhesive on the back and mount this right on the gray granite with a little border around it. Okay. Then my designer paper is going to go on top. And this, we're going to put it along the bottom edge, giving us that same little border. And it's overlapping this by a little bit. You see that? And that way we just make sure that it's all covered. Next, I have a piece of this gorgeous, gorgeous ribbon. And this is the gray granite ribbon that is in this same suite. It's got a real shimmery look to it. It's so pretty. So this is going to get wrapped around like this. And this is a 5 1/2 inch piece. Okay. So we're putting it right across at the seam where the designer paper meets the textured part. Okay, and this is going to go on the card front. Right there. Now we're going to go back to our stamped image and the other layer that this goes with. And we're going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of this. Well, we're also going to put them on the back of this little banner. And with this banner piece, it is a 1/2 inch by 2 inches, and then I just took and snipped in here. All right. Next, this is where we're actually making it a full-size card. So I'm going to put it on here, and you can see it measures 4 1/4. That's the normal size of a card. And right now it only measures 3 1/2. But what we're going to do is we are going to mount it about like that. I like to have it on my grid paper because this way I know this is 5 1/2, and I for sure don't want it to go up any further than that because it won't fit in an envelope. But in this case, because of where the ribbon is and everything else, I think it's going to look prettier about right down here, and that measures 5 inches. That will easily fit inside an envelope. So we're going to put dimensionals on the back side, but we don't need any on this because there's nothing there for it to stick to. So we just need it on the bottom half. So let's verify this is the bottom. Okay. again, we'll get this here. I'm going to position, go about right there. Okay. And so then it sits like this. This sticks up. So this is called a tent card. All right, now we're going to go to our little banner. And this is going down there. All right, we'll move this stuff out and then we'll finish up here. We're going to use some of the Elegant Faceted Gems. And this is from the same Peony Garden suite. So the designer paper is the stamp sets, not these framelits. The ribbon, these embellishments. So it is a pretty, pretty one. Okay, and if you look at these, you can see, I hope that you can see, yeah, I think you can. There's like a little crosshatch design in each of these. So these ones are clear. These obviously are the petal pink, and then these are an opaque, a solid kind of shimmery color. So I want to use a little bit of both. So I'm going to start out here, and we're going to go ahead and let's put one there. Let's go with a small clear. Get that off my finger. We're going to put one of these right here, and then we will put one of the other ones right down there. Okay, the last thing I want to do is just to decorate the inside of my card very quickly. And so I could stamp in here, but all that I want to do this time is I just want to put a little bit of the designer paper there and a little piece of the gray granite. So with this, actually let me get my scrap sheet over here again. I'm just going to put adhesive on the back of each of these. Okay. And actually, I'm going to do it this way. I want the gray granite on the bottom. So always remember to decorate the inside of your cards, whether it be with, you know, one of the little stamped images or just a little bit of the coordinating designer paper. It just finishes things off so well. So the gray granite band that I use there is just a strip that's 4 1/4 long and 1/4 of an inch wide. Oh, that's not on straight. And then this designer paper is again 4 1/4 long by 1/2 inch. Okay, so there is the card. I hope you were inspired today to do some stamping yourself. And if you want to make sure that you don't miss any of my projects, if you are viewing this on YouTube, please look below and subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button. That's in red below the video. And then there's a little bell there. Click that and you will be notified every time I post a new video. So if you're wanting any products, I would so appreciate if you would stop by my store at stampinstudio.com. So thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with me in my Stampin' Studio. And until we meet again, enjoy life, stamp something, and eat chocolate. Bye-bye.